Imagine getting arrested, not for robbery, not for murder, for smiling on a Sunday. Yeah, that was a real thing. The 1600s were basically a time when the government looked at human suffering and said, we can do better. And they did. Much, much worse. Today we're diving into the most bizarre, most brutal, and honestly most unhinged punishments that were completely legal in the 1600s. These weren't fringe cases. These were the law. Stick around, because by the end of this, you're going to feel very, very grateful you were born in this century. Oh, and hit subscribe. You don't want a 1600s judge finding out you didn't. Let's start with the classic. You mess up, maybe you stole a loaf of bread, maybe you said something rude to the wrong person. Doesn't matter. They drag you to the town square, lock your head and hands into a giant wooden frame, and just leave you there for hours, sometimes days. And the whole town walks by, staring, laughing, throwing things. We're talking rotten vegetables, mud, whatever they had nearby. Imagine going to work, making one mistake, and your boss puts you outside the office door, locked in a frame, so every single coworker can throw their lunch at you. That's the stocks. Completely normal Tuesday in the 1600s. Now this one specifically targeted women. If authorities decided a woman was talking too much, complaining, arguing, or just being loud, they would strap an iron cage around her entire head. It had a metal spike that pressed down on the tongue. Move your mouth, feel the spike. Simple as that. They'd then chain her to a post in public so everyone could see. Imagine having a bad day at work, complaining about it to a friend, and the government shows up with a metal face helmet and says, "That's enough talking." The 1600s really said, opinions, not on our watch. Speaking of water, meet the ducking stool. You'd be strapped into a chair attached to a long wooden arm like a seesaw over a river. Then they'd dunk you, repeatedly. Cold water, no warning. Just down, up, down, up. Sometimes used on women accused of being troublemakers. Sometimes on people accused of selling bad food or watered-down drinks. So a baker sells one bad loaf and suddenly he's a human tea bag in the town river while a crowd cheers. The punishment ended when the crowd got bored, which could take a while. People in the 1600s had a lot of free time. Okay, things get more intense. Certain crimes in the 1600s came with a very permanent souvenir, a hot iron pressed into your skin. Different letters meant different crimes. T for thief, B for blasphemer, F for fighter. They'd press it into your hand, your cheek, or your forehead, so everyone you met for the rest of your life would immediately know what you did. No moving to a new town and starting fresh. You were wearing your crime report on your face. Imagine if every minor mistake you made showed up permanently on your forehead. Most people would just stop going outside entirely. This is where the 1600s fully lost the plot. If you refused to enter a plea in court, meaning you wouldn't say guilty or not guilty, judges had a solution. They laid you flat on the ground, put a wooden board on your chest, then added heavy stones, one by one, day after day, until you either agreed to plead or died. This was legally called pressing. One famous case, a man named Giles Corey during the Salem witch trials had this done to him and still refused to plead. His reported last words were, "More weight." Absolute legend. Also a cautionary tale. Mostly a cautionary tale. Some crimes didn't end in public humiliation or physical pain. They ended in something arguably worse. You were simply removed, banished, exiled, thrown out of the town or colony, sometimes with nothing but the clothes on your back. In colonial America in the 1600s, the wilderness wasn't a camping trip. It was wolves, freezing winters, and zero DoorDash. Judges would literally send people into the forest as a punishment. You disagreed with the church's views? Out you go. You caused a public dispute? Enjoy the trees. Imagine getting into one argument at your HOA meeting and being told to go live in the woods. Honestly, some days that sounds peaceful. Most days it sounds like a death sentence. And finally, the one that somehow feels the most modern, public shaming parades. You'd be made to walk through the entire town, sometimes backwards on a donkey, while townspeople followed, banging pots, ringing bells, and screaming insults. This was called a rough music procession, or a skimmington ride in England. It was reserved for people who broke social rules, cheating spouses, abusive partners, people who stepped out of line. The whole community participated, voluntarily, enthusiastically. Imagine walking through your entire neighborhood while every neighbor bangs a frying pan and yells at you. Actually, don't imagine that. That sounds like Twitter. We invented Twitter instead. So, there you have it. Iron face cages, human tea bags, walking your shame through town on a donkey. The 1600s were genuinely wild, and somehow all of it was perfectly legal. The craziest part? People back then thought they were being civilized. Makes you wonder, what are we doing right now that future people will look back on and say, wait, that was legal? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you think. And if you learned something or just feel grateful you don't live in the 1600s, subscribe. New video drops soon.